So you see why God changes vocabulary? Let us make man in our image likeness, because Adam is reflecting. Just like Adam, him is one, but more than one person, male and female, two different genders of same nature. The God who created them that way is one God, but he's more than one person of same nature.
Yeah, I think that's the best one that I've seen so far.
Both Muslims and Christians, Jews as well, would agree. God is unlike anything in creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's in the Quran, that's in the Bible. I've done sessions where I've quoted the Bible, says, I'm unlike anything. You can't compare me to anything. So by the very definition of God being God, there cannot be anything comparable to him that's exactly like him that exists the way he does. Now, which view of God best fits this definition? A triune God that's unlike anything in creation, or a unipersonal God?
Triune one. Just
because why? We see unipersonality everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But God says in the Bible, in the Quran, even chapter 42, verse 11 of the Quran, and chapter 112, verse 4, there's nothing comparable to him. So when the Muslims say, well, how can God be three persons, one God? Because now they're likening his existence to mortal creatures. But the Quran says, Allah is unlike me. And the Bible says God is unlike me. So if I go by that definition, the triune God best comports with God being unlike anything in creation than a unipersonal God, because there's nothing in creation that's triune, meaning three persons that are not three separate beings, but one being, eternal existing as one God. That's an argument in favor of the Trinity, not an argument against it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first point, right? Now, as far as analogies are concerned, I'm always careful. This is why some Muslims dishonest took me out of context. I say, with that said, I can show you examples in creation where there are finite, temporal, limited entities that are also complex in their design. Now, if they're complex in their design, how much more the infinite creator, how much more complex will he be?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I give analogies. I'm not saying this is God. I just told you God is unlike anything. The analogies are simply to show you, even in the finite, limited, temporal creation, there are things that are complex in their design. So there are unity and diversity, plurality and unity. So then why would we shock that the infinite God would be much more complex, that though he's a unity, his unity is so complex, there's a diversity in it. And this is where I give analogies. For example, H2O. And I don't say water. That's where people make a mistake, because water cannot exist simultaneously as liquid, vapor, and solid. But H2O can. One hydrogen, two oxygen. Right? H2O can simultaneously exist as liquid, solid, and vapor. And you see that when you go to a frozen lake. What do you see? You see H2O solid, the surface, right? Ice. But then you see H2O as liquid beneath the ice. But then you see steam coming out of the ice. That's vapor. So if H2O can exist in three simultaneous states that are not the same, how much more the creator of H2O?
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I can think of a few other things that make sense with it as well, but then you start going into the realms of modalism. And
that's because you're making the mistake of assuming that the analogies must be identical to God. No, that's why it's an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
But analogies break down. Now, let me give you a biblical one that I said I was going to give you. Genesis 1, 26, 27. If you read Genesis 1, you're going to notice that when God creates something, he says, let there be. And there was, right?
Yeah.
If you read it. So you with me so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when he comes to creating Adam, he changes his vocabulary. This is the only time in the narrative where God says, let us make man in our image. And the word man is Adam in Hebrew. After our likeness, let them. Did you catch it?
Yeah.
Adam is them, a plural. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. One more time. God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them. So Adam is plural. Them. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Because Adam reflects God being plural, plurality and unity. Like the one God is a plurality of persons working together, the one Adam is a plurality working together. Because that's why the Adam becomes the them. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
But now let's go on to verse 27. Now, the God who said, let us make man in our image, turned out to be a singular being because it's a him and a his. So God created man, Adam, in his own image, but earlier was our image. In the image of God, he created him. So God is a he, but in 26, he's an us and an our, right? But now he's a he, right?
Yeah.
But then it says Adam is a him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then Adam turns out to be male and female. Male and female, he created them. What's going on? How is Adam a him, but then Adam becomes a them, male and female? So this analogy in the creation of man, who's a finite, temporal, physical being, male and female, two different genders with physical bodies and genitalia, which is unlike God. God does not have a physical body with genitalia. So that's not the likeness, but the idea of the one Adam being more than one person of same nature working together. That's how we reflect God. The one God is a community of more than one person of same nature working together. So here, let me show you Genesis 5, verse 1 and 2 to illustrate this point. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. So did you see Adam is him? Made him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Male and female created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. So did you catch it?
Yeah.
So male and female are Adam?
Yeah, both referred to as the same name.
And together they're one Adam, so that's why they can be called a him, even though they're a them.
Yeah.
So you see why God changes his vocabulary? Let us make man in our image likeness, because Adam is reflecting. Just like Adam, a him is one, but more than one person, male and female, two different genders of same nature. The God who created them that way is one God, but he's more than one person of same nature.
Yeah, I think that's the best one that I've seen so far.
Okay, now, to just show you the connection with Adam and Eve as a reflection of God, look at the connection here, the final one. And this is the best analogy. Remember, nothing other than God. So even mankind, limited, temporal, finite, physical. God is not limited. He's not temporal. He's not physical. He doesn't have physical bodies or genitalia. Christ became flesh, a male, and God could appear as a man or forms, but by nature, he's formless. So now watch this. Genesis 2, 23 to 24. And Adam said, when Eve was created from his side, this is now bone of my bones, because she came out of my bones, flesh of my flesh, so she's my flesh. So now let me ask you a question. If Eve came out of Adam, her flesh was made from his flesh, that means she has to have the same nature, right?
Yeah.
Because if she's made from Adam's flesh, then that's his flesh that she has. So can she be inferior to him?
No.
Can't be, because it's my flesh, my bone. So that means she's equal in nature to him, and she came out of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he says, she shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Because woman means womb of man. So she'll be called woman because she's from womb of man. Man, woman, Hebrew, isha, ish. But now here's the connection with God. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. The word one is echad. You know why that's important? Why that word echad is important?
Go on.
Because in Deuteronomy 6:4, that's the word used to describe God being one. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our God, Yahweh is echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah echad. Male and female, two separate physical beings, two separate physical persons, two separate physical bodies, two different genders, but because they are of the same flesh, because one came out of the other, when they come together in intimacy, they end up becoming one again. As a reflection of the triune God, three distinct persons, Father, Son, and Spirit, not the same person, but because their nature is the same, they're one God. Let me make the connection a little deeper. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Look what Jesus says about Adam and Eve. Matthew 19, verses 4 to 6. And he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, not the same gender, two different genders? And said, for this cause shall a man leave a father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and the twain shall be one flesh. The two are one flesh. Now look at this. Wherefore they're no more twain. They're no longer two. They're but one flesh. Don't say two. That's why we don't say three gods.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, aren't they really two? They're two distinct physical beings, physical persons, two different genders, right?
Uh-huh.
But Jesus says, don't say two, just say one. Likewise, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Don't say three gods. Say one God. Now, let me give you an analogy with John 1:1. Now, John 1:1 says, in the beginning, meaning before creation, the Word was already existing, right?
Yeah.
And the Word was existing with God, and the Word was God. So here you have, before creation, the Word with God, someone called God, which we the Father, and he was God in nature. Now, let me give you an analogy of Eve to help it now sink in. Now, remember it said that male and female were called Adam?
Yeah.
Genesis 5:2, he called both of them Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Here goes. Male and female created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day they were created. So now let me show you how man becomes a reflection of God. Not identical. They're finite, temporal, physical. God is not temporal, he's not physical. But as an analogy to God, being one God, but three distinct persons of same nature that are inseparable. And Adam is supposed to be more than one person of same nature who are supposed to be inseparable. After creation, there was Eve. That would be true, right? After God created, there was Eve, correct?
Yeah.
And Eve was with Adam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Eve was Adam.
Yeah, so it's a very, very similar setup.
You got it. Before creation was the Word. The
Mm-hmm.
Word was with God, and the Word was God. Just like after creation, there was Eve. Eve was with Adam, the male, and Eve was Adam in nature. There you go.